Hello, hello, this is Jared, and you're listening to the All Good Books podcast. Julie, how are you?
I'm good, Jared. How are you?
I am doing well. I can't complain. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Can't believe it.
I can't believe it. I'm thankful that we're here. But we are in a brand new year. There's some things happening. There's some changes, big picture and little picture. And are you ready to tackle and take on 2025?
I certainly hope so. 2024 was not the best year, so I have lots of hopes for this year. Just being gentle with myself, and a lot more good books are coming out this year that I can't wait for. Lots of personal projects on the horizon that I'm excited for. So hopefully this will be, I'm hopeful and thankful that 2024 is over and looking forward to what this year has in store.
I love hearing that. Hopeful and thankful are two words that I'm holding to and holding close to me moving through 2025, since we're already in 2025. So it makes me happy to hear that. Speaking of taking care of yourself and moving through 2025 with hope and being thankful, what are you reading right now?
I always read a bunch of things at the same time. I'm a big mood reader, so I like to have options. When I get tired of one thing, move on to the next. I am listening to September House by Carissa Orlando, who we actually had a book launch party for back in 2023, I believe. And I was so sad that I didn't get to meet her and read her book. So I'm finally getting to it now. It's very fun. It kind of reminds me of Haunting of Hill House. The main character is lovely. She's got a great voice. I'm really enjoying the writing style so far. I'm also reading The Wild Robot, which won the best book of 2024 in our children's category that everyone voted on. It's very cute. It also just became a movie with Pedro Pascal and Lupita Nyong'o. So I can't wait to read it once I'm done. And then I am rereading Fourth Wing in preparation for the release of Onyx Storm here at the end of the month.
Yes, and that's one of the things I want to talk about. And I know off the mic and before we got on, I was going to do it in a chronological order, but it's the perfect moment to talk about the next book coming from Rebecca Yarros, and we're having an event. So can you tell our listeners and our independent bookstore supporters what's happening around the new Rebecca Yarros release?
Yeah, so January 21st is the official date for Onyx Storm, which is the third book in the Empyrean series from Rebecca Yarros. And we are so excited. We're going to be throwing a launch party, a midnight release party, which just makes me feel so nostalgic and remember when, Hunger Games was so big and Twilight was so big and Harry Potter and all of the release parties we had for those type of things. My childhood heart is very, very happy. So at 10 p.m. on January 20th, me and my best friend Lauren will be hosting a party. We're going to have trivia, would you rather games. We're going to have prizes, some snacks, and at midnight, everyone can take home their book. So in order to come to that party, you need to have ordered the deluxe edition of Onyx Storm with us here at All Good Books. We are already maxed out for this event. We are completely sold out, and we'll be checking everyone in upon arrival. But yeah, if you placed an order with us for that, you are welcome to come and mingle with other fantasy lovers. We're very, very excited.
I'm looking forward to it. And I have no shame in saying this on the mic and for the podcast and for the listeners. I have not read any of Rebecca Yarros' books, but you recommended them to me and I need to get to it. But I'm excited about this event, and I can't wait to capture the event with my camera. So the 20th, looking forward to that. Now, before the 20th, we have our book sale, the All Good Books Happy Book Sale that's happening. And it's going to be two phases. There's going to be a sale for members AGB members on Friday and then another one the weekend. So Julie, can you tell us a little bit more about the Friday and then the Saturday and Sunday pairing?
Yeah, of course. So the Happy Book Sale, that is a title we made in honor of the Happy Booksellers that used to be a bookstore here in Five Points. This sale helps us make room for all the amazing new books coming out in 2025 and also allows us to keep better track of our inventory. After the sale is over, we have to scan every single book in the store and make sure everything is looking good, and it's a nice spring cleaning for the store, I would say. So on Friday, January 10th, members will get kind of an exclusive sneak peek. On Friday, they get to shop the entire store for 30% off. That will not include AGB merch, and we'll also have a table called New and Notable. It won't include those books on that table. But everything else, 30% off. And then Saturday and Sunday, which is January 11th and 12th, will be 30% off for everyone. And on Tuesday, January 14th, the store will be closed for our staff to do that inventory check.
Yes, so a lot to look forward to this month and every month at All Good Books. And going back to the Happy Book Sale, 30% off. That's a great percentage in my personal opinion, and I think it's also a great opportunity for those like me who love art books, coffee table books, photography books, which can be on the higher end of the price scale. It's a great time to come in and get the books you love, the books that lean or lend to your home aesthetic, and get it at a good rate. So yeah, don't forget about the Happy Book Sale for members on Friday, January 10th, and then the following dates, the 11th and the 12th, the Saturday and Sunday. Any of the AGB supporters. So Julie, thank you for that.
Yeah, and that is also, I do want to just note real quick, that is in-store only. That will not be online and will also not apply to special orders that have to be ordered because the goal is to just get our inventory down in the store.
Yes, thank you for that. And not to just at the top of the episode, like browbeat or like earbeat everyone with like, here are the events and here's the sales. The focus of the podcast is for Julie and I and for the store to reach out and make sure we're highlighting incredible authors, incredible writers, and those who contribute to the literary world. And for this episode, I had the amazing opportunity to take some time and sit down with author and poet Nikky Finney, who lives here in Columbia. And it was an incredible conversation, in my opinion. A lot of wisdom was gained with some things she shared and told me on mic and off mic. And just a little background, one of the reasons why I wanted to speak with Nikky Finney is because recently we lost amazing poet, legend, icon, Nikki Giovanni. And I want to take a moment to recognize Nikki Giovanni for who she was or is, however you want to approach someone who's passed. Because I know a lot of people still say is, because their presence, it can still be felt. So I wanted to take a moment to recognize Nikki Giovanni, who she was, is, her work, her legacy, and the impact she's had. And the connection to Nikky Finney is Nikky Finney was one of Giovanni's students. So it just seemed like the perfect opportunity to not only highlight an incredible woman, Nikky Finney, but also highlight and honor and recognize another incredible woman, Nikki Giovanni. So I'm so excited for listeners to hear a portion and parts of the conversation I had with Nikky Finney. And I encourage everyone to come to All Good Books and get one of Nikky Finney's poetry books. Also, get one of Nikki Giovanni's poetry books. Both women are incredible. Both women are talented, and they're worthy of being supported and worthy of being read. Julie, before we get into the episode, anything else you want to add, or what's on your mind? Did you watch the Golden Globes? They were last night. Why not?
I know. I honestly forgot. I love looking at stuff the next day, though. There's a couple of like bookish accounts that I follow that always match costumes and the apparel worn by all the celebrities to book covers. So whenever there's a big event like that, I always look forward to the next morning where I can see everyone's outfits and but still related to the book world.
Please forward those accounts or that account to me, because I love fashion. You do. Our girl Cynthia was looking amazing, representing for the Wicked team. So did Ariana. Also, they the actress, the non-binary actor from House of the Dragon, Emma Darcy. They looked incredible. We love a little suited situation. We love a jacket. They are incredible. Well, thank you for listening to the All Good Books podcast, and I hope everyone enjoys this interview, this conversation that was had with the amazing Nikky Finney. Nikky Finney, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Jared?
I'm doing well. I can't complain. Trying to fit everything in on Christmas Eve. So thank you for being here and thank you for doing this interview. Are you excited about the Christmas holiday?
Not so much Christmas holiday. I mean, there's a lot going on in the country. There's a lot going on in our community. On my way over here, I noticed, I guess my focus is always on people who are struggling. And I write about those communities. I write from that community, and there are a lot of people on the street and who won't be celebrating, Christmas tomorrow, who'll be looking for food and looking for a place to sleep and places like that. So I guess my focus is as a poet, as an artist, as a person who's been here for a while. I think about the people who don't have a lot and the sort of inequities in our society more than sort of like maybe the pomp and circumstance of Christmas, which I don't know. The older I get, it's not jaded. It's just honest. My eyes look at folks who don't have a lot, who aren't on the same sort of track that maybe those of us who have blessings and who are privileged in that way are. So I'm excited to be finished with my class for the semester. I'm excited to have my grades in, and I'm trying to be dutiful about reaching out to people and communities that don't have anything and don't have a lot, especially at this time. And it's winter, so it's cold outside.
Absolutely. Other than it fueling in a way your work, your poetry, how does it make you feel? Because I don't want to assume, so tell me, how does it make you feel when you see communities of certain people suffering in certain ways, whether it be year-round or this time of year?
We're not doing enough. We're not focused on the things that I think we should be focused on as a society. And there are thousands, if not millions, of people who slip through the gaps all the time. And so I'm thinking about them in this time when a lot of people are celebrating and buying presents and doing the things that we kind of annually do. I think about how many people are under the radar, if you will. I mean, as an artist, I feel like those have been the people that I have championed and looked at and brought into the focus, because we don't tend to do that as a nation, as a whole nation.
Absolutely. I totally feel you on that, and I totally understand. Connecting with something that we spoke about before we started recording, you run a cultural arts center, and it's the Ernest J. Finney Cultural Arts Center. Ernest A. Finney Cultural Arts Center. Thank you for that. And you had a free event this past Saturday in service to community. Can you talk a little bit about this past Saturday?
Well, the Ernest A. Finney Jr. Cultural Arts Center is named for my father. And my dad was a civil rights attorney in South Carolina for many years. He was a circuit judge. He became the first African-American Chief Justice of the South Carolina Supreme Court since Reconstruction. And in all those times and all those years, he was the lone dissenter for the death penalty in South Carolina. So as a girl, I watched him fight for people who didn't have a loud voice in this state. So he was a crusader for justice, and we have named the Cultural Arts Center after him. And we have been around for about 2 years. We're just getting started. We are institution building here in Columbia, and we care about arts. We think that the arts are provocative, powerful, educational, and the more arts are taken out of our public school system, the more we know we need them in the community. And so we don't narrowly define an artist. An artist is someone who makes something. An artist is also somebody who cares about the community that they come from. So as a board and as the director and as a poet primarily and as a teacher of 40 plus years, I know that we need the arts in every community. Teaching, I know that we live in a time where books are being banned, where truth is being banned, where things that people don't want to talk about are going under the table. And I think that as a cultural arts institution, we have to champion those things, because as human beings, we cannot afford to look away. And so we had an event on Saturday where we gave away smoked turkeys from Railroad Barbecue, where we gave away bags of books, where we gave away just items that might make somebody smile, who perhaps might not be getting something during this week. And as a community, we wanted to turn the light on the Waverly community, which has been around for 100 plus years. It's the first real community that existed in Columbia. It was the first integrated community in Columbia. It has given birth to many, many really powerful voices that have set Columbia on the map. So we champion Waverly, where we exist in downtown Columbia, and we champion the ancestors and historical people who walk through those doors in order to make Columbia a better place and in order to make South Carolina a better place. We had music. We had Fat Rat the Czar, who puts on a free Black musical celebration every year, Black family event. And we had a group from South Carolina State College that came and sang, and it was a nice party. It was a good way to remind people that, yes, art is when you make something, but art is also when you come together to talk about powerful, difficult things that we need to be in discussion about.
Would you say you have a responsibility to the community, and your father's work and your work, does that add to that responsibility, or do you feel, I don't want to say pressure because I have so many negative connotations, but do you feel the ethos or the energy of his work coupled with your work being a driving force of what you want to do?
Yeah, there's no pressure. I feel like he gave me a gift. He taught me, he wanted me to go to law school. I didn't want to go to law school. That wasn't my path. My brothers are lawyers. And I also understood, because I was a child during the Black Arts Movement, 1970s, that you can take ideas and power and things like justice and import them into your art without standing on top of the table and screaming, what those ideas are.
One of the things also we mentioned off the mic too, along with giving away the turkeys and the work with the Cultural Arts Center, servicing the community, it can take things from a person sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes, in service to the community, coupled with the work that you do along with writing and your poetry. What is taken from you, or what do you sacrifice or give in order to create, in order to service the community?
I don't know. I don't take stock of my time or my day or my life in that, like what's being taken from me. I think of the opposite. I think of actually what's being given to me. I think that you have to meet the day in the way that you need to meet the day. We're all busy. We're all doing 10 different things at once. But what's been handed down generationally, what's been handed down historically to me, I've never thought that being an artist meant that you go in a corner and you do your art and you have this single life. The life that the teachers that taught me from the Black Arts Movement and before that I never met, who I just met in books, often taught me that being an artist has many responsibilities, and that I have been passed something that I need to honor and then pass on. So yeah, I'm tired at the end of the day, but a lot of people are tired at the end of the day, and a lot of people give up a lot of stuff in order to do the work so that the world's better.
And Nikki, you talked about teachers. One of your teachers was Nikki Giovanni. Could you talk about her work, and her legacy in light of her recent passing?
Well, just from my own point of view, very personal point of view, I met her when I was a junior at Talladega College. I was 20 years old, 19 maybe, and she came down for an arts festival. And this is how art happens a lot of times in communities. I didn't know how to be a poet when I was growing up in Sumter, South Carolina. There weren't any poets around me waving a flag saying this is how you do it. So I looked in books, and I found poets in the Black Arts Movement: Nikki Giovanni, Haki Marabuchi, Sonia Sanchez, Gwen Brooks, so many poets who were viable and prolific during that time, and they were writing and they were being published in Black publications like Jet and Ebony, and I found their work, and they became teachers through those materials. And then when I made it to Talladega, Nikki was being known as and called the Princess of Black Poetry, and was on tour everywhere at all colleges, and was making this incredible name for herself. And my English teacher, Dr. Gloria Wade Gales, wanted me to submit some poems to her while she was on campus for a week. And I thought that was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard of, because why would Nikki Giovanni want to read my poetry? But because she was my teacher, I did that. And as a result of that, Nikki Giovanni took my poems back home to Cincinnati, where she lived with her mom, who was a high school English teacher. And she read marked and edited my poems at the kitchen table one night with her mother. And I got a phone call. Back then we didn't have cell phones. It was a beautiful time. The phone in the dorm rang, and it was Nikki Giovanni. And she said, "I'm sending you back your manuscript that I have, and don't be afraid of all the red marks that you'll see on it." And it did arrive, and it was red marked. And I thought it was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. And what she was telling me is what she said. She said, "I want you to know that there's something beautiful trying to happen on your manuscript, and you just have to make sure it happens if you're serious." Well, in that moment, I became very serious, because one of the great poets, living poets of the day, had told me that there was something valuable happening, and I just had to work harder. So I did. And she and I stayed in touch, and my first book, which was published by William Morrow when I was 26 years old, went through her editor first, and then went to William Morrow, which was also her publisher at the time. So she was really impactful in a technical way. She was really impactful in an emotional way for me. She was a springboard into the publishing industry that most poets wanted to have access to. And so she was really important to me in that way. And she remained a friend, and we stayed in touch throughout her life.
Nikki, is the desk tapping for you to steal your expression, if I stole it correctly?
Yeah, you stole it correctly. It's alive. It's always calling me, and the work is it matters. People come up to me at readings all the time, and they say, If I only had the time, I would write a book. I would write my memoir. I would. And I say, you have the time. You're just not prioritizing the time. And that's what working artists do. We prioritize our work over television, a party, a wine tasting, whatever. We do our work first, and then we do whatever else we want to do. So I get up in the morning at 4 o'clock, and I sit at my desk because it's quiet. Trash people haven't come. The cats aren't fighting outside yet. My mom hasn't called me. This is the time that I know that I have to do the work that I want to do. So I prioritize it. I would love to sleep till 7 o'clock, but that's not prioritizing what I need to do. So I get up, I do my 3 hours. Toni Morrison said this many, many years ago. She said, I find the morning so interesting. I find that I can think better in the morning before my head gets clouded with other things. I totally align myself with that understanding of the morning. So I get up. I leave a dream state, right? I leave my dreams. I bring them to the desk. I don't make coffee. I don't make tea. I don't get dressed. I just write. And so that's why it's always alive. That's why there's a heartbeat there, because when I leave it, it's waiting for me to come back. And those of us who understand that wherever we're working, whether it's at a desk, at a camera, whatever studio we have, whatever space we've put to the side so that this is the place where we create the worlds that we believe in, they just wait for us to return. And so that, yeah, that's how my relationship with my work is that.